Okay. I'm gonna try to make this under 10 minutes, so hopefully I can do that. A little bit of a Photoshop refresher here for you. When you get ready to start editing your photo for the project, okay? I always suggest opening up an artboard first. Some of you don't like to do that. You just like to drop in your main image. But I like opening up an artboard. So I'm gonna go to File, New, Making a Print. Make sure you title it. Do Exploration Project. We are working 13 by 19. 360. Pick the orientation of your image here. So mine is portrait, so I'm going to keep it portrait. It's a good idea for your images that you choose if they are both oriented the same way. We can crop and zoom them in to kind of make them match up, but you'll have an easier time if they are oriented the same direction. I like to have the transparent background for this project. You can have white. I'm going to go ahead and make mine transparent. RGB, hit create. Okay, artboard setup. Then I'm going to open up all of my images. So I'm going to go to File, Open. So I want my portrait image. Where is that at? Here it is. And then those 8 other images that I am wanting to use in my portrait here. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4. Where are the other ones? Gone. Okay, we'll open up these ones for right now. Hit open, and they're gonna open up all along here, right? So I got a lot of things opened up. What can I do to move these images over? Well, let's start refreshing on some of our tools. We have the move tool, right? I can, oops, cancel. Remember to unlock your layer, first refresher. I can click and drag this around, okay? So this is the move tool. Everyone will be using the move tool. I can use my lasso tools here. Remember, we can use the lasso tool, can draw, and it will cut that portion out. And then I can use that move tool again, and I can move it around. Also under the lasso tool is the polygon lasso tool. So it lays in straight lines. Get back to that point. And then again, I can go back to that move tool and move it around. Also under here is the magnetic lasso tool, which we used whenever we made the creature. And it starts to drop points looking at color and contrast. So I'm dragging it slowly, and it's starting to follow the outline of my butterfly's wing here. I could go all the way around. I could go up the antennas if I wanted to. The slower you move, the better. Remember, I'm going to go quick for the demo. And then you want to land it back on that original anchor point. Okay, go back to the move tool, move that around again. I can take this, move it up, drop it onto my artboard, right? And I need to hit enter to say, yes, that's where I want it. I need to move my image of my portrait of my person over. Make sure you unlock it. I don't know why the default is locked. That's very silly. I'm going to drop it in here and scale it up how I want it. If you can't see this blue line, you need to turn on where it says show transform controls. See how if it's not checked, that goes away. Make sure it is checked. Remember that you can drag layers up and down over here. So if I want my butterfly layer to be on top of my portrait layer, I can click on that layer, drag it down. Just make sure you see that blue line. That way you know it's dropping where you want it to drop. I'm gonna scale it up where I want it. Hit enter. Boom. We're already at 2 layers, right? Good habit to get into is to label portrait. You double click where it says layer, butterfly, boom. Once I get things set up the way I want them, I can start deleting other things out. So I have my portrait image over there. I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. This is already a PNG, so I'm gonna go ahead and move it over. Boom, gonna hit enter. It's opened up a layer. Gold mirror. I come back over here. Whoa, where'd it go? It's all the way down at the end. Right? Yeah. Delete it out. What other tools can we use? So we've done all the lasso tools. We have the quick selection tool, which we learned about. You also have the object selection tool. I don't like using it because it takes a very long time and it loads forever. It does the same thing that the quick selection tool does, but it just is detecting what it thinks the object is. Where the quick selection tool allows you to pick what you want. Right now, my cursor is huge, right? So I need to come up here. I can adjust my tools up here, and I'm going to take the size down a little bit smaller. And the hardness refers to the edge of my brush. So boom, it's grabbing, I'm clicking and dragging and grabbing exactly what I want. I'm gonna grab that move tool and pull it in to where I need it to be. Drop it down, it's opened up a layer, perfect. I'm gonna type in flowers. I'm gonna delete this guy out. Don't need it anymore. We're gonna come back to that. I can already get my butterfly. Okay. What else can I do? So I've got some images in. I've used the move tool to pull them up into the layer that I need, or into the tab that I need them to be in. I've got layers going on. I've used the lasso tool to grab my butterfly and the quick selection tool to grab my flowers here. We also have the crop tool where we can crop what we need to crop. If you need to crop your image, you could do it. You can change the height and width ratio up here if it's locked into something. So we can come up, hit ratio, and it gives us kind of free reign to do what we need to do. Nope, I don't want that. Thank you. This tool here, let me hover over it for a second. Nope. Oh, it's not going to show us. No, workspace. If I hover over it, it's still not popping it up. Usually it will show you what the tool is. This is what we used back whenever we did that anything but coffee tutorial. So you would plop in the shape. So for the coffee, we did the circles right, and then we dragged in an image. So right now it's trying to drag in my flower image into just a circle. So that's what we did for the anything but coffee. And I could put that in there in a little tiny circle if I wanted to. We'll leave it like that. Voila, right? And you could do rectangle of that too. You come up here to switch what shape you want. We did the spot healing tool. Remember that zit demo that we did really quick and you cleaned up that lady's face? I could do that here on my face. Okay, get rid of, oh, it's pointing down my wrinkles. Let me get rid of those. Okay, clean up some of the wrinkles on my face here. And it's just trying to color match what it thinks that you want to drop in there. It's better for small spots. Again, I can change the size of it up here. And I could get some of these smaller things. If I didn't want my ears to be pierced anymore, boom, it's gone. If I hated all these little freckles, I could get rid of them. What else I have? More freckles. I don't hate my freckles for reference. If I didn't want my dimple there, boom, softens it out. Get rid of those nasty lines. Make me look like a baby. Voila. So fun to do. We used the brush tool a very, very long time ago. I made everybody download brushes, right? You could draw on here if you really wanted to. You could open up different brushes. Yours that you downloaded probably are still in here. You could do, mine are still in here. Stamp different of your brushes on here. To change the color, you can come into over here, right down here, and I could change the color. Could make it blue, right? Starting to look really nice. Just kidding. So let's say I wanted to do blue flowers all along the bottom. Could go back up into here, switch my brush to a different flower. Boom, it's looking very nice. Okay. We use the clone stamp tool. Remember that you can steal something and mimic it. So let's say, what's a good example on here? Let's say I didn't want my purse strap to be on here anymore. Okay, just want it to be my black shirt. One, make sure that you are on the right layer. If I'm trying to steal on my butterfly layer for my shirt, it's not going to steal my shirt. So I need to make sure I'm on the right layer. I can change the size of my brush up here. I'll make mine a little bit smaller. I'm gonna zoom in. To steal a color, I hit Alt, it changes to that target, click on where I want, and it steals that color. I'm hovering it over here to see, and I start coloring that in to try to match that part of my shirt. If you can see it's starting to steal my purse again, so you need to keep stealing. That way you're not mimicking parts of what you don't want to see. So I could get rid of my purse there. Voila, and I could do that all the way down my shirt if I really wanted to get rid of that. We also learned about the eraser tool. So if I'm working on my butterfly, maybe I wanted to clean up some edges of it. So I could make a smaller brush and really soften the edge of it. I could lower the opacity and I could come in and start to soften. Maybe I don't want the middle of my body of the butterfly. Maybe I just want the wings. Could go through, slowly start to edit that out to where it fades out, maybe naturally. Very slowly, cleaned up. Wow. I could go along the edge of my wings, just like we did in that creature demo. I kind of had you all go around the rabbit's head and just soften it up a little bit. That way it's not such a harsh line from where maybe you cut it from your original image. Will look a little bit more natural if you soften up the edge of it. And I could zoom in, remember Control plus, zooming in and really get into the pixels of it if I wanted to. Control minus, zoom out, space to drag around. We also have the background eraser tool here that will erase backgrounds for you. You have to color steal. And then it should, let's see, it might be this one. Start to erase that out. Nope, I'm on the wrong layer. So it's taking the color that I stole and starting to erase just that color, which can be helpful for certain things. Let's say that I wanted to get rid of that really bright red around the sign up here. I can hit Alt, steal. It's doing the background. No. Back up here. Alt, steal. Yeah. I would probably want to make that brush a little bit smaller because it's picking up red around the outside, but it's really erasing right around that Leopold's sign. You can see it's trying to avoid the yellow there. What else? We also have the magic eraser, which just clicks and erases based off color. So I could go through and clean out some of that color if I wanted to. Or maybe if I brought over, let's see. Have a good image? No, I don't. Let's say that I wanted to bring this image over and the background is white. I could take that and erase out the background and then just pull that butterfly over, but I already have it in here. Oops, in here. In this picture frame, maybe I wanted to get rid of some of these centerpieces. I could use, oops, wrong layer. I could delete that out where I would see through it. It's picking up the color differences too much there. It's good for like large white areas or solid colors against another solid color. I have the blur tool. I'm gonna amp this up a little bit, which allows you to blur things. Too big. So if I wanted to go through and really blur my flowers, it's not super noticeable. You could turn up the strength if you wanted to make something really blurry, really fast. It's better for like the edge of my butterfly here. Okay, go around the edge of it, blur it to blend it a little bit more. Sharpen tool can be good for certain effects. Remember, if you go over an area a lot, let me show you. Oh no, it's frozen. Okay. If I go over an area a lot, it starts to distort it. So you can see my butterfly wing is starting to turn like a weird color. I'm gonna undo it. No, my computer's lagging. I'm moving too quickly. Might have to force quit it. No. Okay. It undid it there. I'm gonna give it a second to breathe. But it can create a really nice effect if you wanted that. Let's see if I can get it to do it. Zoom in a little bit. It's not doing it. Okay, I'm not gonna upset it anymore. So that way I can carry on. Smudge tool here, I did in the background. Oh, it's covered. Of this original one. You can see it a little bit. I took the smudge tool and just did little swirls to get rid of the people in the background. So I could do that again. You could smudge literally whatever you want to smudge. Yeah, you can see it's lagging so much. Oh my goodness. But it creates a really nice effect there. You could smudge anything that you needed to. But I would be a little bit specific on where you want it to go. Okay. Still going. And we're back. Dodge, burn, and sponge tool. These ones we use back during that creature demo too. The dodge tool brightens something. I'm nervous to do this, so it's going to slow it down. Here we go. So if I wanted there to be a little bit of a highlight on my face, I could bring it over there and I could make my brush smaller up here. The burn tool is good for shadows. So if I wanted the back of my head to look a little bit darker, or the back of my shoulder here to look a little bit darker. Sponge tool, I like to say it absorbs color. So it's just making certain things that gray tone. So if you want to kind of desaturate part of your image, maybe you want to desaturate the background and have the person stand out. Okay. Okay. That's a majority of the tools we talked about on our toolbar together. You're more than welcome to look up other things. You are not limited to the ones we've learned together. As far as adjustments go, if you are wanting to adjust your entire image, do it over here, okay? Any of these you can use. Ones we used together were levels during that rabbit creature demo to make the rabbit head a little bit more gray. Color balance changes the colors of things. So does the hue and saturation. Those two would both be good for this project, thinking about trying to separate your Illustrator side versus your Photoshop side of the edit. Show you. So hue and saturation could change the entire hue of my image here with just the pole of this bar. Undo it. Also in adjustments are brightness and contrast. I can brighten my image and amp up the contrast. Color balance. You can adjust specific colors in here. So maybe I want my reds to be a little bit more red. Maybe I want the greens to pop out a little bit more than the magentas. Blues versus yellows. So you can kind of toggle it around and make it look like what you want it to look like here. If you are wanting to adjust just one specific thing and not your entire image, You can do that, okay? Let's say I want to adjust my gold mirror here. You need to go up into image and then hit adjustments. The same options are up here that were listed over here. So if you go to hue and saturation, you could change the hue of this mirror or frame or whatever you want to call it. If I wanted to adjust my butterfly, I could go to image adjustments. Could go to color balance again. Could really amp up the red and the oranges, make it more pink. Pull out the yellows or pull out the blues. I could edit my flowers here. Inverts the color, so it does the opposite on the color wheel. The complementary there. What else we got? Posterize kind of makes it look more like a poster, if you like that effect. There are a ton of things on here. I can pick the level of it, make it really postery, less postery. But yeah, those are things we talked about together. There are also other things you can do down here. There are different filters. You can do layer masks down here and different effects. But you are more than able to complete the project, the Photoshop half of it, by the tools that we have learned together. That is exactly what I've done over here with the tools that we have learned together. Okay.